Yo, 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 mans! Your radio coach is doing a reaction on Breeze, Ronnie, Bobby. So, Breeze has received a lot of the changes. And now, let's analyze this map and let's see what are the changes and how to adapt to these changes. Now, when it comes to the team compositions, on Breeze, I think that everything is gonna remain the same. The only difference on the Breeze right now is I feel that other controllers, such as Brimstone, Astra, and Omen, are gonna become viable on this map. So Astra, Brimmy, and Omen are viable alongside Harbor and Viper. But to be honest and to be fair, like I really feel that Viper and Harbor are still gonna be the best controllers for Breeze, and maybe Brimstone, Astra, and Omen can act as secondary controllers, which is not bad. Double controller setup, you know. Imagine this team composition. We have a Harbor, we have a Viper, we have the Gecko, and one in basically, I don't know, one Sentinel and one Duelist. Perfect, basically. So essentially, like, this map is still gonna be dominated by the wall controllers, and I still recommend you to learn, you know, how to play Viper on this map if you wanna play controllers. And when it comes to, like, some, you know, Brimstone, Astra, and Omen, I think they can work to some degree. You know, in the elos below Immortal 1, I think you can pull off Astra, Omen, and Brimstone quite easily. But in the elos above Immortal 1, you will need to play Viper. I wouldn't recommend Harbor to my worst enemy, basically. Now, when it comes to, like, other picks on this map, I feel Gecko is gonna be very powerful for safe plant, essentially, and not being spammed by the utility and spammed through the walls, through the smokes, etc, etc. So I kind of recommend you, if you're already playing Initiators, go with a Gecko below Immortal 3, and after Immortal 3, it would not be a bad idea to learn, you know, KO, Sova, Sky, etc, etc. When it comes to the Duelists, I still feel that Jet is gonna be #1 pick in general, even though she got nerfed. Phoenix is really good. Neon is gonna be great. Yoru is also gonna be amazing. Reyna is good as well. The only Duelist that I wouldn't play on Breeze is like Race, essentially. And when it comes to Sentinels, you know, everything works. Like Cypher, Killjoy, you know, I think Chamber is gonna be a heavy meta right now. I really feel that Chamber is gonna be a heavy meta on Breeze, like he was before, of course. And to be honest, I would just if you already wanna play Duelist on this map, just play Chamber, literally. Now, what are the changes on the maps? So changes on the map is the following. We don't have a tube anymore. Tube is fully blocked. We only have this doors location for retakes, or maybe to pressure the enemies on the post plant, or maybe to just pressure the enemies from another off angle and another position. What I was thinking about is maybe when you're starting the rounds, it is not a bad idea to open this fully. You know? Like, right now, when I was testing the map, my idea is, like, if I'm already playing A site, let's say from the stairs, why don't I open the doors here so we have more routes and we open more angles from which enemies are going to be scared to essentially engage us? You know? What's the point of this then? Like, it is just open it immediately if you're playing close to the doors, or if you're not doing anything special for your team, and just play like that, to be honest. Now, on the A side, you know, all of the angles are quite identical. We still have off angle here. We have these off angles for the operator. This area of the map is very clean, and now duels are much cleaner than before. And keeping the A main control is a piece of cake, to be honest. Like, even by doing some kind of a deep smokes, if you have the cone type of smokers, is not a bad idea, to be honest. Like, doing the smoke at the choke point, pressuring the enemies backwards, taking the full aim and control, and locking down the enemies in this area of the map. Like, if you have the flashes, the stuns, and you think enemies are gonna push A, lock down the enemies here, And just, you know, one of you guys can just watch the doors area of the map, for an example. Like, we don't need to play passively. I still feel, you know, on this map, even though, like, what kind of changed in general? The main thing that changed is the power shift between the attackers and defender side players. So basically, the defense is gonna be easier than before, but even now, with these changes, you will still need to fight for map control. Like, leaving the map control here, 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 and here for the enemies, without even contesting the enemies. Playing fully passive is the worst thing that you can do. Especially in eco and halberd rounds, like when you're playing A site, I don't see a single reason why would you sell the A-main area of the map, for an example. Now, with that being said, like, I also feel that our default bomb site is still gonna be the A site. I feel that the A site is still, to some degree, a bit harder for the retake than B. Maybe I'm tripping, but I'm gonna test it a bit more and see in my future guides and future videos, like, whether you should be prioritizing A defense a bit more than B defense. I feel on defender side that still, you know, you need at least one sentinel. Like, we need to have either a Killjoy, Cypher, or Sage in our team to block one area of the map completely from the enemies. And contesting the enemies in mid is a lot easier than before. I've noticed during the playtest that essentially doing this peek with an operator is piece of cake to get a kill, you know, like, if the enemies are not pressuring you with some kind of a utility. And generally speaking, you want to fight for the mid control. Like, mid control is going to be very, very important now with all of these changes. Like, it is much easier to take the mid control, much easier to contest the enemies, and just with a few smokes and a few, like, utility, you can take the full mid control, essentially. On B side, all of these off angles feel really, really good. You know, like playing these headshot positions and dropping down, repositioning somewhere else. This area of the map is so easy to be defended, in my opinion. Like, now that these boxes exist here, it's very easy to abuse these angles with close range weapons and judges and buckies. Like, to be honest, at the end of the day, nothing changed that much, but the power balance shifted slightly in the favor. Not in the favor of defense. Like, this is still attacker-sided map. It's a huge map with huge rotations, but it's evened out to some degree. Now, when you're playing on a defender side, as I said, like, I would recommend you to play a bit more aggressive, fight for the mid control if possible. Don't leave the mid to the enemies. Don't leave the link to the enemies. Don't give this area of the map to the enemies for free. You know, at least try to hold some kind of an off angle like this before you leave the A site and abandon the A main area of the map. And overall, I don't know. Like, the map is kind of the same, but it's not the same. It's much cleaner, with much cleaner corridors, much cleaner angles to clear, and I love it a lot. Like, and also on the attacker side, to be honest, even though we lost one route, you know, like, through the tube is fully blocked. You cannot teleport through here with the Omen. You cannot do any outplay here. Like, this area of the map, I don't know why the fuck it exists. Like, maybe for some cheeky rotation kill, if enemies are not paying attention on this. But, I mean, I'm gonna pay attention. Like, you know, just place your crosshair for this shit. And this drop still exists, so you can still drop down and essentially, you know, rotate fast, I guess. Now, with that being said, when you're playing on the attacker side, I feel that splitting is still gonna be necessary. You know, like, pushing the A site and B site only through the A main and B main area of the map is gonna be a lot harder than before. And when you're pushing the A site and B site, you will really need to take mid control, you know. We need to split through the doors, lurk, flank, fight for some 50-50 fights, fight for the map control, try to surprise the enemies on both A and B. like, I really feel that mid control is going to be very, very important. And after taking a mid control, you know, it's going to be much easier for you to make some kind of a game decision whether you want to go A or you want to finish on the B side. Now, with that being said, like, essentially, you know, you need to be aware of all of these, new angles, new positions where enemies can teleport, fight you, like, make sure that you're clearing everything one by one properly. These pillars are very good. These pillars are actually now blocking a huge part of the vision, you know, from the bridge and from the stairs and from this yellow box. So this change is actually really, really nice. And this area looks much cleaner and easier to fight the enemies for some reason. I don't know. This angle, when you're playing on the attack, it feels much easier to fight the enemies. It feels much easier to take this type of a duel for some reason. I don't know. Previously, it felt kind of weird, at least for me. Now, when you're on the attack, everything remains absolutely the same. You know, nothing changed in particular. The only thing is that now when you're pushing the mid area of the map, like, you know, we need to try to synchronize our pushes from there and here. Try to pressure the enemies together. And essentially, like, I really feel that on the attack, you will need to fight for some mid control. You know, lurking and flanking is still going to be necessary. Taking the space for, you know, here is going to be required. Because when you're pushing, you know, through the B main area of the map, let's say I'm dashing into the site, I'm doing this. I'm kind of stuck step bro, you know? Like, I cannot really go for this, because enemy can be here and kill me. Enemy can also kill me from there. And essentially, there's too many angles and too many positions that enemies can take, and from which enemies can actually kill you. So basically, like, I feel the post plant on the B side is going to be harder to some degree. And also, like, the push on the B side is going to be harder because of existence of these boxes, these angles here, and these off angles here, for an example. So in essence, you know, just you will need to clear every fucking angle, clear every position that you're engaging, and make sure that nothing is left uncleared, essentially. Like, I really feel that, you know, on this map, you will still need some kind of a good initiator, like, to some degree. Like, you know, Sova will probably still be necessary to clear all of these positions, to scan the enemies and remove at least some part of the map from the enemies if you want to do a 5-man push. The smokes are still the same, you know, if you're doing a Viper wall, you still want to do it like this, cut off this area of the map, fight for the front side. If you're pushing A side, you still want to do the wall like this, and fight for this portion of the map, plant the spike there. The smoke setups are still the same, you know, like, absolutely identical. Just, there's way more angles where the enemies can be hiding and killing you from. Way more positions where enemies can use the shotguns and close range weapons to fuck you up. Also, that is another thing that kind of changed for the Breeze. Like, I feel that close range weapons became much more viable than before, such as Judge, Bucky, Stinger. Of course, it is not fun to play them on the retake, but if the enemies are hitting the site where you are playing at that moment of time, you can get a few cheeky bricky kills, you know, in A main area of the map, around A choke point, on the B side, and so on. Overall, very good changes. I like the map a lot. I feel that this is a very, very healthy change for the solo queue, and I firmly believe that in episode 7, Act 3, if the Icebox replaces the Ascent, we will have the best map pool ever in Valorant, since they're not adding a map picking system. Like, not having Pearl, Fracture, and Ascent in the solo queue, that's gonna be amazing. Literally, it's gonna feel really, really fucking good to play this game again. Because of the breeze changes, and Sunset is also very fun map. It feels like a deathmatch map that is very fast-paced. It feels like a CSGO map, essentially. It feels like I'm playing, I don't know, Ancient, or feels like I'm playing I even dust too, basically. Like, I don't know how to explain it. Like very clean angles, clean corridors, clean engagements, and I like it a lot. I like it a lot. So, overall, you know, A+ tier for the Breeze. Like, changes are 4 out of 5, in my opinion. I told you which agents I feel are going to be necessary on this map and what I'm going to play. Like, I'm probably going to play Chamber as a number 1 pick on Breeze. My number 2 pick is going to be Gecko. And number 3 pick is going to be Viper. Those are the 3 agents I'm going to main for my Radiant grind on Breeze, because I feel that all 3 of these picks are going to be necessity to solo carry the matches on Breeze. I wouldn't even play a single duelist on this map, essentially. And, you know, other than that, I feel that there's nothing else to cover for Breeze, and I'm gonna make sure to cover in-depth Breeze guides in my ranked playbook that you can access on my Discord server, and I'm gonna make the guides for Jett, Omen, Raze, and every single agent in the game in the future, you know, Yoru, Chamber, and all of the other characters. So I'll be discussing the Breeze a bit more in depth inside of these guides. Yo, Ari, I guess. Ari, thank you a lot. Thank you a lot. Thank you a lot for the raid. We got the raid right now. Okay, that's it for this reaction that I'm recording for the YouTube right now. So that's what I'm doing right now. If you want to get coached by me, join my Discord server. You know, subscribe, like, do all of that good stuff. Editor Frost, if you're editing this, like, you know, add some outro, this, that. Okay, done. See ya later, guys. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.